Tensions between China and Taiwan continue to escalate. The Chinese Foreign Ministry has expressed anger after the U.S. approved a military sale to Taiwan, the first time in Trump's second term as president.
On April 17, 2026, at exactly 4:02 in the morning, something happened in the Taiwan Strait that shocked Beijing to its core. A Japanese warship sailing alone with its tracking system deliberately turned off quietly entered one of the most dangerous and disputed stretches of water on the planet. For nearly 14 hours, it sailed straight through the Taiwan Strait, the narrow 180-kilometer channel that separates Taiwan from mainland China. A channel that China considers its own backyard. A channel where China has been running massive military drills, firing rockets, and deploying hundreds of warships for months. And you know what's even more stunning? Japan chose that specific date on purpose. Because April 17th is not just any day. It is the anniversary of one of the most humiliating moments in Chinese history. The day China was forced to hand Taiwan over to Japan back in 1895. China's military was furious. Their diplomats exploded with rage. State media went into overdrive. But Japan? Japan didn't say a single word. So what exactly happened? Why did Japan do this? And what does it mean for the rest of the world? Let's break it all down from the very beginning. The ship at the center of all this is called the JS Ikazuchi, a Japanese maritime self-defense force destroyer. Ikazuchi in Japanese means thunder. And on April 17th, it lived up to that name. Now, when most people think of Japan's military, they think of a country that is constitutionally limited from using force. And for decades, that was mostly true. After World War II, Japan adopted a pacifist constitution that restricted it from maintaining a traditional military and from using force to settle international disputes. But here's what's changed. Japan has been quietly, steadily, and deliberately rebuilding its military power for years. Under Prime Minister Sanai Takaichi, who took office in October of 2025, Japan has been moving even faster. Takaichi's government has committed to doubling Japan's defense spending to 2% of GDP, which would make Japan one of the top military spenders in the world, right up there with the United States, the UK, and major NATO powers. And Prime Minister Takaichi has been very direct about why. In November 2025, she stood up in Japan's parliament and said something that no Japanese prime minister had ever said so bluntly before: that a Chinese military attack on Taiwan could become an existential crisis for Japan, and that Japan might use its self-defense forces to respond. China absolutely lost it. Beijing accused her of military intervention, acts of aggression, and interference in China's internal affairs. China suspended imports of Japanese seafood. It issued travel advisories telling Chinese citizens not to visit Japan. It walked out of scheduled diplomatic meetings. But Takaichi didn't back down. And then, on April 17th, 2026 came the JS Ikazuchi. Let's talk about what actually happened that morning. At 4:02 a.m. on April 17th, 2026, the JS Ikazuchi entered the Taiwan Strait from the north. The ship sailed through the entire length of the strait and exited at 5:50 p.m. A full 14 hours of sailing through waters that China considers among the most sensitive on Earth. Here's the detail that really matters. The ship had its automatic identification system, its AIS, turned off. Think of AIS as the GPS tracker that ships normally keep on so other vessels and authorities can see where they are. By turning it off, Japan was sending a very deliberate message. It was essentially saying, "We don't need to tell you where we're going. These are international waters and we answer to no one." China's People's Liberation Army Eastern Theater Command scrambled. They deployed both naval vessels and aircraft to follow and monitor the Ikazuchi for the entire 14 hours of its passage. PLA drones filmed footage of the destroyer from above, and China's state media later released that drone video to show the world that they had been tracking it the whole time. But here's what's important. The PLA did not stop the ship. They did not intercept it. They watched it. China's Foreign Ministry spokesman Guo Jiakun called it a deliberate provocation and accused Japan of trying to flex its military muscle. The Ministry of National Defense filed a formal protest with Tokyo, calling the transit a move that sent a wrong signal to Taiwan, independent secessionist forces. The PLA's Eastern Theater Command said they had maintained effective regulation and control, which was their way of trying to save face. They were essentially saying, "We were watching, we were in charge. We allowed this." But nobody believed that spin for a second. Because here's the reality, Japan sailed a warship through the Taiwan Strait and China could do nothing about it. Now let's talk about the date, because this is where things get really fascinating. April 17th, 1895. That is the day the Treaty of Shimonoseki was signed, Treaty of Maguan. After Japan defeated China in the First Sino-Japanese War, China was forced to sign this treaty, which had devastating consequences. Among other things, it forced the Qing dynasty, the then ruling government of China, to permanently cede Taiwan to Japan. Taiwan then became a Japanese colony for 50 years. For the Chinese Communist Party and for Chinese nationalism, this treaty is one of the most painful symbols of what they call the Century of Humiliation, a period when China was weakened, divided, and forced to hand over territory to foreign powers. So Japan sent its warship through the Taiwan Strait on the 131st anniversary of the day China was forced to give up Taiwan. China's state media immediately understood the message. The PLA Daily, the official newspaper of China's military, published a commentary accusing Japan of harming the feelings of the Chinese people by timing the transit to coincide with this anniversary. Global Times, another state-run outlet, called it not just a gray zone tactic, but an act that heightens global vigilance against Japan's new militarism. Western analysts and military observers noted something very different. Japan had just demonstrated that it knows its history, it knows what matters to China, and it is now willing to use that knowledge as a strategic message. This was not a routine naval exercise. This was a carefully planned, symbolically loaded geopolitical statement. Japan was telling China, "We remember what happened in 1895, and we're back." Beijing's response came fast, and it came in multiple waves. First, on April 17th itself, the PLA Eastern Theater Command released a statement denouncing the transit and releasing drone footage of the Ikazuchi being shadowed. The message was, "We see you. We are watching." Then the very next day, April 18th, China launched joint combat readiness patrols with naval and air forces in the East China Sea. The PLA Eastern Theater Command described it as a routine arrangement to test joint operations capabilities. But the timing made clear it was a direct response to the Japanese transit. Then came the most significant move. On April 20th, literally today, China dispatched a naval formation led by one of its most advanced warships, the Type 052D destroyer Byo-2, through waters near Amami-Oshima, a Japanese island off Kagoshima Prefecture, heading into the Western Pacific Ocean for what China called Far Seas training. Now, here's the thing. China normally does not publicize these kinds of movements. They quietly dispatch ships all the time. But this time, the PLA Eastern Theater Command made a rare public announcement about it. Why? Because they wanted Japan and the world to know. They were saying, you sail through our sensitive waters? Fine. We'll sail through waters near your islands. It was a tit-for-tat message. But military analysts were quick to point out the crucial difference. The Taiwan Strait is recognized internationally as international waters where freedom of navigation applies. Waters near Japan's islands are also international waters. Both sides were entirely within their legal rights. The difference is that Japan executed its move calmly, symbolically, and powerfully. China's reaction looked reactive, emotional, and defensive. Exactly the kind of optics that Beijing works hard to avoid. To understand why Japan's move was so significant, you need to understand what China has been doing in the Taiwan Strait over the past several months. Let's go back to late December of 2025. From December 29th to 30th, 2025, China conducted its largest military exercises around Taiwan to date. A massive set of drills called Justice Mission 2025. These were the second major exercises of their kind in 2025 alone. The scale was staggering. More than 90 Chinese naval and Coast Guard vessels were deployed in the region, in the South China Sea near Taiwan, and in the East China Sea. 77 Chinese military aircraft and 25 Navy and Coast Guard vessels were operating around the island in just a single 24-hour window. 35 military planes crossed the Taiwan Strait median line, a boundary that has served as an informal buffer between the two sides for decades. China fired dozens of rockets toward Taiwan and conducted exercises that explicitly simulated a blockade of the island. The drills were so intense that they forced Taiwan to cancel dozens of domestic flights between the main island and its outlying territories of Matsu and Kinmen. Now think about that for a moment. A country's military exercises were so aggressive that civilian airline passengers couldn't fly where they needed to go. Experts at the Institute for the Study of War described Justice Mission 2025 as a coercive signal intended to weaken Taiwanese morale and deter Taiwanese leaders from policies that support Taiwanese sovereignty. But the truly alarming development wasn't just the scale of the drills. On April 17, 2026, a Japanese destroyer called the Ikazuchi entered the Taiwan Strait with its tracking system switched off. It sailed for 14 hours through some of the most contested waters on Earth. It did so on the 131st anniversary of the treaty that forced China to give up Taiwan. And it did so in complete silence. No announcement, no press conference, no apology. China scrambled its forces. It protested loudly. It deployed its own ships in response. And its state media called Japan's move a provocation, an act of militarism, and a humiliation of the Chinese people. But here's what actually happened in strategic terms. Japan looked China in the eye, sailed through its most sensitive waterway, and China couldn't or chose not to do a single thing about it. That matters enormously, because the Taiwan Strait is not just a waterway. It is a test of whether the international rules-based order still holds. It is a test of whether freedom of navigation is real, or whether China can simply declare a stretch of open ocean to be its own, and have the world accept that. For decades, only the United States had the will and the power to regularly assert that freedom of navigation applies in the Taiwan Strait. Now Japan is doing it too, and the message being sent to Beijing is clear. The era of unchallenged Chinese dominance in its near seas may not arrive as quickly or as easily as Xi Jinping planned. Whether that leads to stability or escalation will depend on decisions made in Beijing, Tokyo, Washington, and in Taipei. But one thing is certain. April 17, 2026, the day the Ikazuchi sailed through the Taiwan Strait, will be remembered as the day Japan decided it was no longer willing to stand on the sidelines. If you found this breakdown useful, please hit the like button. It genuinely helps this channel. Subscribe if you haven't already, because this situation is developing fast and we will be covering every major update as it happens. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think Japan made the right call? Or is this risking unnecessary escalation?